Alégrense siempre en el Señor.
Rejoice in the Lord always.
Repito, alégrense.
I shall say it again, rejoice.
Una invitación
These are
que
striking
golpea
words,
fuerte nuestra vida.
words which impact our lives.
Alégrense, nos
Paul
dice
tells
Pablo,
us to
con
rejoice.
una fuerza
He
casi
practically orders
imperativa.
us to rejoice.
Una invitación
This
que se
command
hace eco
resonates with the
del
desire
deseo que todos
we all have
experimentamos
for a
de una
fulfilling
vida
life,
plena, una vida
a
con
meaningful
sentido,
life,
una vida
a
con
joyful
alegría.
life.
Es como si
It
Pablo
is as if Paul could
tuviera
hear
la
what each
capacidad
one of us
de
is thinking
escuchar cada uno de
in
nuestros
his or
corazones
her heart
y pusiera voz
and to
a lo que
voice
sentimos
what
y
we are
vivimos.
feeling,
Hay algo dentro de
what we are
nosotros que
experiencing.
nos invita a la
Something deep within
alegría
us
y
invites
a no
us to rejoice
conformarnos
and
con
tells us not to
placebos
settle for
que
placebos
siempre
which simply
quieren
keep us
contentarnos.
comfortable.
Pero a su vez,
At the same time, though,
vivimos las tensiones
we all
de la
know
vida
the struggles
cotidiana.
of everyday life.
Son muchas las
So much
situaciones
seems to
que
stand
parecen poner
in the
en
way
duda
of this
esta
invitation
invitación.
to rejoice.
La propia dinámica
Our
a la
daily
que muchas
routine
veces
can often
nos
lead
vemos
us
sometidos
to a
parece
kind of
conducirnos
glum apathy,
a una resignación
which gradually
triste que poco a
becomes a habit
poco se va transformando en
with a fatal
acostumbramiento,
consequence.
con una
Our hearts
consecuencia letal,
grow numb.
anestesiarnos el corazón.
We don't want
No
apathy
queremos que la resignación sea el
to
motor
guide
de
our
nuestra
lives.
vida, o lo queremos.
or do we?
No queremos
We
que el
don't want the
acostumbramiento
force
se
of
apodere
habit
de nuestros días,
to rule our life,
o sí.
or do we?
Por eso
So
podemos
we ought to
preguntarnos
ask
cómo
ourselves,
hacer para
what
que no
can
se
we
nos
do to keep our
anestesie
heart from
el
growing
corazón.
numb,
Cómo
from
profundizar la
becoming
alegría del
anesthetized?
Evangelio
How do we make the
en
joy
las
of the gospel
diferentes
increase
situaciones
and take
de
deeper root
nuestra vida.
in our lives?
Jesús lo dijo
And
a los
Jesus
discípulos
gives
de
us
ayer
the answer.
y nos lo
He said
dice
to his
a
disciples
nosotros.
then, and he says it to us now,
Vayan,
go forth,
anuncien.
proclaim.
La alegría del
The joy of the
Evangelio
gospel
se
is
experimenta,
something
se
to be
conoce
experienced,
y se vive
something to be known
solamente
and lived only
dándola,
through giving it away,
dándose.
through giving ourselves away.
El espíritu del
The spirit
mundo
of the world
nos invita al
tells us to be
conformismo,
like
a la
everyone else,
comodidad. Frente a
to
este
settle
espíritu
for what
humano,
comes easy.
hace falta volver
Faced
a
with this
sentir
human way of
que nos
thinking, we must
necesitamos
regain the
unos a
conviction
otros,
that
que
we need
tenemos
one
una
another,
responsabilidad
that we
por
have
los
a
demás
shared
y por
responsibility
el
for others
mundo.
and for the
Tenemos la
world.
responsabilidad
It
de
is the
anunciar
responsibility to
el
proclaim
mensaje de
the
Jesús,
message of Jesus.
porque la fuente de
For the source
nuestra
of our
alegría
joy
nace
is an
de
endless
ese
desire
deseo
to show mercy,
inagotable de
the fruit
brindar
of our own
misericordia,
experience of the power of the
fruto de
Father's
haber experimentado
infinite
la infinita
mercy.
misericordia del Padre y su fuerza difusiva. Vayan todos
Go out
a
to all.
anunciar ungiendo,
Proclaim by anointing
anunciando.
and anoint by proclaiming.
A esto el Señor nos
This is what
invita
the
hoy
Lord
y nos
tells us
dice,
today.
la alegría
He
del
tells
cristiano
us
la
a Christian
experimenta
finds joy
en la
in mission.
misión.
Go out to people
Vayan a las gentes de todas
of
las
every
naciones.
nation.
La alegría
A
del
Christian
cristiano la
experiences
encuentra en
joy
una invitación.
in following a command.
Vayan y
Go
anuncien.
forth and proclaim
La alegría del
the
cristiano
good news.
la
A
renueva,
Christian finds
la
ever new
actualiza
joy
con una llamada.
in answering a call.
Vayan
Go
y
forth
unjan.
and anoint.
Jesús los envía
Jesus
a todas
sends
las
his
naciones.
disciples out
A
to
todas
all
las
nations,
gentes.
to every people.
Y en ese todos,
We
de hace
too
2000 años,
were part of all those
estábamos
people of
también nosotros.
2,000 years ago. Jesus did not provide a short list of who is or who is not worthy of receiving his message, his presence. Instead, he always embraced life as he saw it, in faces of pain, hunger, sickness, and sin, in faces of wounds, of thirst, of weariness, doubt, and pity. Far from expecting a pretty life, smartly dressed and neatly groomed, he embraced life as he found it. It made no difference whether it was dirty, unkempt, or broken. Jesus said, "Go out and tell the good news to everyone. Go out and in my name embrace life as it is and not as you think it should be. Go out to the highways and byways. Go out to tell the good news fearlessly, without prejudice, without superiority, without condescension, to all those who have lost the joy of living. Go out to proclaim the merciful embrace of the Father. Go out to those who are burdened by pain and failure, who feel that their lives are empty, and proclaim the folly of a loving Father who wants to anoint them with the oil of hope, the oil of salvation. Go out to proclaim the good news that error, deceitful illusions, and falsehoods do not have the last word in a person's life. Go out with the ointment which soothes wounds and heals hearts. Mission is never the fruit of a perfectly planned program or a well-organized manual. Mission is always the fruit of a life which knows what it is to be found and healed, encountered and forgiven. Mission is born of a constant expression of God's merciful anointing. The Church, the holy people of God, treads the dust-laden paths of history, so often traversed by conflict, injustice, and violence, in order to encounter her children, our brothers and sisters. The holy and faithful people of God are not afraid of losing their way. They are afraid of becoming self-enclosed, frozen into elites, clinging to their own security. They know that self-enclosure in all of the many forms it takes is the cause of so much apathy. So, let us go out. Let us go forth to offer everyone the life of Jesus Christ. The people of God can embrace everyone because we are the disciples of the one who knelt before his own to wash their feet. The reason we're here today is that many other people wanted to respond to that call. They believe that life grows by giving away, and it weakens in isolation and comfort. We are heirs to the bold missionary spirit of so many men and women who preferred not to be shut up within structures which give us a false sense of security, within habits which make us feel safe, while at our door people are starving. We are indebted to a tradition, a chain of witnesses who have made it possible for the good news of the gospel to be in every generation both good and news. And today we remember one of those witnesses who testified to the joy of the gospel in these lands, Father Junipero Serra. He was the embodiment of a church which goes forth, a church which sets out to bring everywhere the reconciling tenderness of God. Junipero Serra left his native land and its way of life. He was excited about blazing trails, going forth to meet many people, learning and valuing the particular customs and ways of life. He learned how to bring to birth and nurture God's life in the faces of the native community, of everyone he met. Junipero sought to defend the dignity of the native community, to protect it from those who had mistreated and abused it. Mistreatment and wrongs which today still trouble us, especially because of the hurt which they cause in the lives of many people. Father Serra had a motto which inspired his life and work, a saying he lived his life by: siempre adelante, keep moving forward. For him, thus, this was the way to continue experiencing the joy of the gospel, to keep his heart from going numb, from being anesthetized. He kept moving forward because the Lord was waiting. He kept going because his brothers and sisters were waiting. He kept going forward to the end of his life. Today, like him, may we always be able to say, forward, let's keep moving forward.